Trek has just released the full trailer for the Reckoning DLC 4 that's releasing in Season 5 next week on the 7th of August. As you know, yesterday, as a part of the full Season 5 trailer, we got a short 10-second Zombies exclusive clip, and then we got a full blog post, and I did a video on that yesterday, which you can check out linked in the description, that goes a lot more in depth on a lot of the topics that I'm going to discuss in this video. However, this trailer is really fun. Honestly, it's one of the best Zombies trailers we've gotten in a long time, and it really shows off all of the unique features for Reckoning, as this has been something lacking with a lot of the modern Zombies experiences with the unified system, so I really think this is going to make the map feel a lot more whimsy and fun and more sandboxy. But I'm going to play the full trailer for you now before I break down all of the details you need to know, because there's lots of secrets hidden within, so enjoy.
Murder is what started all of this.
Nothing can erase all of your sins, Edward.
Let's see what you're good for. Visual on portal.
Do something, Maya.
Yeah! Come on, let's go!
You like that? My wife and child, surely their lives count for more than a machine's.
Be advised, local gravity levels are falling.
Flanking you!
Here comes uber trouble.
Crushing my enemies is in my programming.
There it is.
So before I go frame by frame, Richthofen is the primary dialogue in this trailer, and he's talking about how death is what brought us here. Obviously, it started a ripple effect when Weaver targeted his wife and son, killing them, and it really makes me think that they're finally going to explain as to what happened on this tragic day and why it happened, and who is really responsible. This has been a lingering question for literally like 4 years now, and they finally need to tie up that loose end, because really that has been the reason for all of these events occurring. Nothing would have happened if it weren't for that day, and it really is the perfect example of the butterfly effect. Richthofen even says, surely my wife and child count more than a machine's, because obviously the point of this map is really we're going to have to weigh up the pros and cons of either giving the Sam AI a real body that she wants, or allowing Richthofen to restore his family, each one to different purpose with Prima Materia and the Sentinel artifact. Anyways, let's get into the trailer itself. So first of all, we have the towers on the outside and the Black Ops 6 Zombies logo, and you can see the towers are all on fire and melting down. If you saw my video yesterday on the blog, the first objective we're going to have to do on the map is trying to find a way to stabilize the towers, and I think in the process we will also unlock the Pack-a-Punch, as it seems to be set near the anti-grav area that I'll come onto in a second, and it's probably one and the same process if I had to assume. Then we get another shot, and this really looks like, I don't know, Verdansk here with the fire. You've got the characters just sort of looking, and they're going into the main Janus room. You've got some dead Janus people on the floor, the Janus logo right down there. Not really too much to be said there. We saw, I think, the same shot yesterday as well. Then we see an explosion, so I'm guessing this will happen just normally as you progress through the map. Maybe when you open this door, it'll just be a timed event. This will explode as you are getting closer to being able to stabilize the towers, but I really think that's going to improve the threat level of the map, and then that's going to blow open a big hole that you're going to be able to parachute down, that I'll come onto in a second. Then we see all of the characters running. You've got some of these mutated zombies in the background. Then we can see the Rampage Inducer on the table, so this is probably somewhere near spawn in the background of this shot of Carver. Then we see another shot from the roof. You've got the Janus logo. There isn't really too much to be said in the room, but you can see the Rampage Inducer on the right as well, and then it goes all the way up the tower. I really like this shot, and it goes up, and it really shows the scale of this map. And then you can see one of these Dark Ether traps, I think on the left, that I talked about yesterday. You've got some of these Dark Ether pods on the top as well, as it's bleeding into the map. I really like all the roots and stuff like that. Then you've got what looks to be Melee Macchiato at the back there, and then you can see this trap in action. It's this cannon that shoots these Dark Ether sort of laser beams, I guess, and then it sort of infects the area. And then you get a look at the new transport system on the map. So there's going to be these portals around that basically bounce you between the different towers, and this is going to basically be a better version of Die Rise in terms of verticality, but this is going to function malfunction, I guess similar to Revelations. It's a really cool animation, as you can see here, of Weaver getting shot across. It looks so epic and cool, and yeah, it does seem like you are going to just be able to bounce across these areas, and you're going to be able to, I guess, propel into the air with certain ones as well, to then be able to parachute down. Maybe that'll be an infill sequence that we saw in the last little trailer clip, I'm not exactly sure. But then we get into the next clip where we see the Forsaken is back. His orb is still there, just as it was at the end of Black Ops Cold War. I talked more about this in the last video though, and the implications for that, so I'm not going to dive into that, but he could very well be the boss. There's multiple different candidates for a boss on this map: the Forsaken, the Sam AI, Panos. We're going to see who we actually end up fighting, but I'm really interested to see how that all plays out. We can see the stamina up perk there. We've got an arrow in the back. I guess this will take you to be able to cool down the generators, and then we get a look at the new Mr. Peaks field upgrades. Now, I accidentally forgot to mention this in my last video, and there was a mistake with the text, but this is going to be coming in season. We don't know exactly when. It's not confirmed if it's the mid-season or earlier, but people are speculating right now it will come with the Heroes event a week after Season 5 actually launches, but time will tell. It really does suck, though, that he's coming mid-season, but he's going to be very whimsical and fun, doing all of this dubstep, and he can summon this confetti, and you can see there's a lot of butterflies going around him, so I really do hope that we get some new lore. I talk more about all of his augments and stuff from the blog in the last video, again linked below if you want to check that out if you have missed it. He has some really cool effects, but yeah, I can't wait to use this, but I do think he should be out there at the start, and I do hope we get to see some more lore as to why he is actually the case. And then we get a new look at the wonder weapon, the Gorgofex. So it seems to be powered by Prima Materia. You can see it goes into it, and it can fire these charged shots, which basically acts like this big bolt that then explodes. So you can do non-charged shots and just regular shots as well. And something I mentioned in the last video is there are going to be 2 other variants of this. So there's not going to be 4 variants, but there are going to be 3 elemental variants. Now, in the last blog, there was an image, and you can see there is a blue variant. So there's this orange/yellow variant that you can see in the trailer. I don't know what the third color is going to be. If I had to guess, probably red. I don't know if they're all going to do this charge shot or they're all going to have completely different abilities. The blog does not mention at all about what the other ones do. We only just have that brief image of them. And also, a lot of people miss that they're going to have variants because it's literally only mentioned as one line within the blog. So a lot of people completely miss that. But yeah, as you can see, you've got the Forsaken's orb in the background as this shot is fired, and then it completely blows up, and you have this orb then just completely melting and decimating all of the zombies. I can't wait to use this wonder weapon in action. It looks so much fun. And then it is within this anti-grav area. I think it seems to propel this zombie that kind of like rocket boosts into the air for a split second before he then falls onto the ground, or maybe that's just the effect of the explosion of the blast. So yeah, on screen right now, I'll show the shot of the main generator room where there is the anti-grav section, where there is this shot with the Gorgofex weapon. Now, I speculated in my last video that this could be the son of Kortifex. Of course, he did something horrible to his son that we don't know that he had with Syraxis, so maybe he turned it into this weird creature, and then Janus merged it with their technology. That is definitely possible. But on the right of this image, you can see a glowing turquoise thing, and I wasn't sure if this was just some sort of elemental effect of the weapon, but this is actually the Pack-a-Punch in its ghost form. So it will be in this echo form, similar to how it was on D-Machine or the Archon. And I guess as we are turning on this anti-grav, which is probably how you stabilize the generators, if I had to guess, is probably how you also unlock Pack-a-Punch. It's probably one and the same process, and maybe it's going to have multiple spawns throughout the map. We will have to see. But yeah, the next shot we then see in the trailer, we see the statue of the Janus logo. You've got someone using Ether Storm in the background, then you can see the Juggernog perk location. You've got Maya dolphin diving over, and then it goes to another one of these shots through one of the towers, and she parachutes down. So that's going to be something you can just do. But I assume some of those different things that can launch you between the towers, you can also then maybe launch yourself above them to then parachute down onto the top. If I had to guess, I like what we saw within the prior clip. And then we get another shot where we see the main laboratory of Janus, and you can see in the background there's a chamber with some sort of yellow being. I don't know if this is one of the mutant zombies. Maybe they have the toxic zombies on this map as well. Then there's a Dark Ether arrow, and you've got a load of other chambers. And on the right, you can actually see a chamber, and I think this is a disciple. So it's not confirmed what other enemy types are going to be on this map yet, but the disciples probably are, considering it's going to be in one of these chambers. Or maybe they're just going to be able to break out and they're not going to be regular spawns. We'll have to see. But in the last little trailer where the person was about to go into the portal that boosts you, you could see a Mangler shot, and we don't know if this is just from the Mangler cannon or the support streak that turns you into a Mangler. That's definitely possible, or it could be that Manglers boss are on this map. We will have to see, maybe tracker controlling. I hope not. People don't want that. And we have new enemy types on this map as well. Finally, vermin are gone, so it wouldn't make too much sense. Now, make note of this old woman with the blue coat and the grey hair in the middle. This is some sort of zombie, because I think this is important, but I'll come on to this in a second, because if we then go into the next shot, we see more of the laboratory as they open the door and go through into the next section, and then we can see them staring into this main chamber, this main canister, holding what looks to be that exact same woman I mentioned with the grey hair, with some sort of jumper on, and I don't know who this is, but they're being held up in this water chamber, similar to back in Call of the Dead with Richthofen's experiments back then, and I don't know who the hell this is, and Richthofen does talk about his wife and family and wanting to side with him over the machine, the SAM AI, so it is possible that this could potentially be a failed clone of maybe his wife, Mary. I don't know why she would be old now, maybe because the clone failed and she's old, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe this could be a real body that the SAM AI is going to try and harvest. I'm not exactly sure who this is. You don't even really get a full look at her face, but she might be some sort of special zombie on the map, potentially, maybe with a bit more health. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below, who do you think this is? I really don't have any ideas, or maybe this could even be Samantha Maxis, but she's somehow aged. Maybe Richthofen has her captive. I don't know. Obviously, we know we failed to save Samantha Maxis from Modern Warfare Zombies. Could this be that? And she's essentially been killed or mutated off screen? I have no idea, but leave all of your thoughts down below. But I do think this will be the process in trying to destabilize the generators. This is definitely probably one of the early steps you have to do. It's a massive, massive chamber, and this reminds me of the Liberty Falls intel that talked about sounds of someone being held in a canister, and we just assumed that was either referring to Zykov in the Saphir or maybe even the SAM AI, but could it have actually been referring to this in this literal aquatic tank, cloning tank, or whatever this is? I'm not exactly sure. Obviously, Richthofen failed to clone his son Samuel that we learned about on Shad Vale, but this is this a failed clone of his wife, or is it someone else? I really don't know, because there's so many characters. And then we see a look at this anti-grav machine that'll just suck zombies into it. That looks so much fun. And then you can see the Pack-a-Punch in its ghost form floating that I talked about earlier, and there is the regular version floating, and then there's the ghost version. I'm not sure what that's about, but Maya has Pack-a-Punched her weapon, so it seems like there'll be this ghost version simultaneously as the regular version is there. I don't really know what's going on here, but you can see the pink Pack-a-Punch camo that she is using, and then Weaver is also using a version, and you can see the camo that's more of a reddish look in first person right here. And then in the back you've got a portal, so there are going to be teleporters as well as the boost portals as well that shoot you along. And then there is this box that is floating as well in this anti-grav room. This anti-grav room is going to be so much fun. I can't wait. And it is a red portal in the back there, which is reminiscent of the portals we had in Vanguard Zombies as well, so could Kortifex be involved? Then we get a look at the Uber Klaus, and we get some quotes from him as well. He's going to be so funny. He has a deeper voice. I'll play the quotes for you right now.
Here comes Uber trouble.
Crushing my enemies is in my programming.
There it is.
So yeah, as you just heard, he has a deeper voice than how he sounded as just the regular robot we had in Marauder Toten, but yeah, he's completely beefed up. In his regular form, he's just going to be able to melee you, but then he's going to be able to use his rocket blasters on his arm, so he'll move a lot slower, but then as you weaken him by shooting his core, he'll sort of break out and then be able to move quicker. And he also has these anti-grav things on his shoulders, so he's able to fly and float like the other versions of the Panzer Soldaten we've seen. And we can see he does this grav stamp, this massive stamp, and you can see that there's a load of smoke and debris erupting from his foot, so I'm guessing that could potentially even insta-kill you, especially without Jug if he manages to do that on you. I'm not sure. Then we get another look at this anti-grav room, and Weaver just dolphin dives shooting into the mech, and that looks so epic. You can see his anti-grav things seem to be preventing potentially his shots, but then as you fully destroy the Uber Klaus, he's no longer the Uber Klaus because he actually turns into the Commando Klaus. So these are, I think, replacing the vermin rounds on the map, but also the Uber Klaus will turn into it when he is fully weakened. So essentially he goes through multiple processes where he's very slow at the start, but then he's very quick at the end when he ditches all of that protective armor, but then he's easier to be killed, and he's able to fly in this form as well. But he has blue eyes here, so I think this is the variant of it when he is from the Uber Klaus, but then we see the red eyes version, and I think this might just spawn in on the special rounds, so this will be the new 5 rounds or so, and you can see loads of them teleporting towards the player player, or should I say floating towards, and these are going to be very scary. They'll just explode on impact, it seems, so there'll be kamikazes, and you can see another one of these portals, the red ones in the background. They'll take you between the different mainframes and areas of the map. So yeah, I think there might be two versions of this. I don't know if they actually function differently. Maybe the blue eyes is a slightly different version that might not explode and is just the version that the Uber Klaus turns into, whereas the red versions are just the ones on the special rounds now, and because obviously there's going to be a section of the map that we saw within the other trailer that is the Klaus mass manufacturing facility, and then we see the text saying fear. Then we get another look at one of the Klauses with the red eyes here, and in the anti-grav room with Weaver. Then it says thee, and we can see all of these mushrooms and pods of prima materia. That is exactly the same as how it looked on the Tomb's Nexus. We get a wall by in the back for an SMG, and yeah, this seems to be the exact same room where that woman was being held in the chamber, so I'm guessing this is going to be the central point for where the Dark Ether is going to be bleeding and infecting our world, and it's probably where we're going to get encapsulated into the Dark Ether by the end of the quest. This is going to be the most dangerous section, and I do like how hopefully as the quest progresses it's going to get a lot gloomier and Dark Ether infected, adding to the atmosphere, because so far from the shot that we saw outside of it being dusk, it doesn't look very zombieified. Then we see another look of the anti-grav room. You've got the pack-a-punch floating on the left. Again, I don't know exactly how that works. And then we see the logo Reckoning all on fire because the towers are on fire, and of course Panos is going to burn for his benefactor, his shadow benefactor, with his body and soul. So how is that all going to play out? I do not know, but that's everything within this new trailer. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of all of this. Of course, check out that prior video if you're confused on absolutely anything I showcased here, as I go a lot more in depth on things. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not here for latest and greatest Call of Duty news information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye. To conclude this video, I want to shout out the fact that I finally decided to make a Patreon and Cameo account, both of which will be linked below if you want to help support the channel. On Patreon, you can sign up for the lowest tier of just $1.50 a month to get exclusive access for my Discord, where we can discuss zombies lore, trivia, or whatever you desire. A place where you lot, my community, can better connect. Your names will also appear at the end of videos thanking you. For $5.50 a month, you get all of that, and I will be doing exclusive monthly Q&As. And for $16.50 a month, you again get all of that, and I will be doing exclusive lore videos, such as unpacking niche parts of the Treyarch documents I've been breaking down on my channel that don't as much suit a main channel video. For the highest tier, only for those with the ability to and who really want to help out the channel, you get special bonuses I've yet to determine and verbal shoutouts at the end of every video. Over on Cameo, I can do funny videos reading lines from zombies, memes like how do we tell him, birthday wishes for friends or family, or whatever else you desire, practically anything. Of course, none of this is necessary, just watching and enjoying the videos helps me immensely and I greatly appreciate it. However, I think it's about time I start setting up additional revenue streams because Zombies' popularity is tumultuous and always goes through ups and downs. As I'm sure you've lately seen on the channel, viewership is down a lot. We go through big highs when new games release, but then during these drought periods, I need more income stability so I don't have to worry as much about it and I can focus more on improving the quality of the content. My highest quality videos are not always the ones that best please YouTube algorithms, so instead, this way I can produce my best work knowing I don't have to think as much about how well the content's going to perform. So if you'd like to support me on Patreon for exclusive content or would like a simple Cameo message, you can do so to further support me via the links below, but only if you can afford it and you actually want to help me. Don't feel like you are forced to, don't worry, I'll survive. It would just help relieve some of the pressure during inconsistent periods on the channel so I don't have to solely rely on AdSense revenue and still maintain the sheer quantity and quality of content that I put out. Obviously I pump out literally a boatload of content and some of these are absolutely crazy projects over hour-long videos, so it's a lot on my plate, especially when these videos don't perform particularly well. And I've not been doing many sponsorships lately to help supplement revenue either, so it would greatly help. Thank you for any generous person once again who does kindly support the channel. It means the absolute world and will really help keep this boat afloat.